All right, welcome back to all the subscribers. We're here grinding. I've got a little bit of a double main event here today. We're going to do some starting pitchers and some outfielders, a place we've been focusing all preseason. Before I jump into the double main, we had a couple questions. So let me get to some of those from the comments. Machado's value. We're going to have to do a little bit more of a deep dive. I touched on it. I think there's some collateral damage that we'll get to throughout the vlog. But Machado is going to take a ding in the home run category. He's going from a park that he was taking advantage of. I looked at the dimensions of the park. I checked out Baltimore. The corners I'm not so much concerned about from left to center to right. It was 364, 400, 373. And Machado is pulling the ball. He's a right-handed hitter. He's on the left side of the plate. He's pulling it about 40% of the time. 35% center, so he does have some center power, 25% to the right. He's a slightly pull hitter. When he goes down to SD, those three dimensions are going to 390, 396, 391. So he is losing about 26 feet of cheapies to left field, which he was taking advantage of. That's got to pull him down to at least 30, about 30 home runs. But the thing you got to think about with Machado is that he flashed a Z contact rate as he was focused. He knew it was a contract year. His Z contact dinged up about 2 ticks, and we saw some of that 2015 where he flashed a 92% in the Z contact. So I think he's got enough power. I think he can go. This is another thing I'm checking. Let's get into some advanced metrics here. I went over to average home run distance. You got to go to your baseball savant, average home run distance, and sort by that. And some things fall out of that. I mean, Trevor Story at 422. That's power all over the place. I like seeing Nomar Mazara with that long home run when his go out. We scroll down. Manny's got about a 404-foot home run. So those aren't cheapies. There's a chance with his contact rates he just starts going all fields or he pulls it down the line a little bit further. I think he's okay for 30. It's the speed that I'm not seeing, so I don't think he suddenly goes 30-30. He's not that fast. He's stealing just off of being heady and wanting to take bases, so I think he's more of a 30-20 guy. So we had another question. The other thing, last thing on Machado, that home run to fly ball percentage, he's solid. He just maintains like a 15% throughout his whole career for 5 seasons. So the power is no doubt legit. I think it's just going to tick back a little on the cheapies. Let's give him 32 home runs. The next question, and this is going to tie into our speed conversation and our power conversation, is Acuna versus Turner. And I love that challenge as I just gave out the Trey Turner alert and mix that in with me taking Acuna for $65 in the first auction. That is a tough question, and you really were tuned right into what I was thinking, because as I look at my draft strategy, I go, well, wait, I always have to work through Acuna. I mean, at $40, what he's listed at, no, that's going to be way too cheap. 45, there's some amount over Trey that I want to pay. So I dove into these profiles a little bit. I dove into how they're hitting. The things I'm looking at are like their hard, their fly ball percentage, that home run to fly ball. Just getting in there a little bit more is important. And the big difference with Acuna over Trey is Acuna is hitting at a 44% hard contact rate. Trey is down in like the high to mid 30s. So that hard is tantalizing. You go over to Baseball Savant, that barrel percentage at 14% for Acuna. That is tantalizing as well. I mean, the other part, I went to just contact rates and looking at the chase rate. So Trey has improved his O swing, so his eye is getting better. He came in the league at like a 33%. He's got it down to maybe 26, 28. So he's refining his eye. But Acuna came in the league at 21 with just a 28%. His eye is near where Trey's is after 4 seasons. So we've got that going. Trey will get on base because the Z contact is so high at 88%. Acuna, a little more swing and miss down at 82. But the scary thing with Acuna that we've seen through his whole progression through the minors is that he first samples a level and then dominates a level the whole way up. So is he going to come into the league and take some sort of step forward? The power, he did that in a limited sample last season. So you have to take those numbers, that 26 and teens, and realize he got called up late and then he got injured. So that's why you're seeing the $65 pop, because he might be 40-30, probably the best 40-40 upside in the league. Acuna's upside is up there. We're going to get into some things about the need for speed. So I'm listening to Derek Van Riper, DVR. DVR, the day after I called the Trey Turner alert, DVR comes out and says, he's off, Turner. He's no, DVR, you were there. You had it. Stick to your guns. Don't get scared. And he wants to say that he thinks Merrifield is like Turner's floor. No, no, that is not Turner's floor. Turner is going to be on base. He's going to make good on that 40 to 50 steal potential. So I just don't necessarily agree. A couple guys I'm down on. I'm down on Segura, and I just want to make the difference between being down and being off a guy. Like, being off is important. Some guys you just have to be totally off, not touching them. Like David Dahl for me. I'm just off it. And then some guys you can be down on. Like, I don't want to take them where they're going, but I won't let them fall too far. And for me, that seems to be these Kane type profile guys where it's like 10 home runs and maybe 30 bases. Because I don't want 10, and if you're not really fast, to turn into like 10 and 20, and now you're not really power and speed. You only did average, but you weren't really busy enough. So I don't know. I'm a little down on those, not off. I think I am a little off on Castellanos with the BABIP Mirage. So let's get into this little bit of a double main. Outfield is not that deep. Outfield is not that deep. There's a lot of high-end guys. Your outfield will fill up quick, but then it's not that great for what's deep. We're going to throw a lens on it. I'm going to use kind of a sprint speed lens. This was in the comments. I was looking at, like, where's the speed? How much speed is too much? And this is going to kind of parlay into your draft strategies a little bit. I don't want to chase too much speed and then be light on power and then not make up enough power. So in a way, I kind of want some concentrated speed. But what if I get too much concentrated speed and then I come up short on power? So this is a balancing act. I'm going to bring you over to Baseball Savant and remind you that if you go back up to the top and you click under the new nav on the leaderboards, we can get this sprint speed as opposed to just looking at stolen bases. And I'm just going to touch on this list a little bit. Number 1 spot, Byron Buxton. If Buxton gets on base more, the steals are coming automatically. The other 2 guys to focus on, Billy Hamilton, Trey Turner. This is why those 2 guys are constant green lights at a 30 for sprint speed. And honestly, from 30, we're really only going to consider guys down to 29, even 29.5. I mean, there's Trout, Mikey Trout at 29.2. You know, that's bottom end speed. Whit Merrifield, 29. I don't want to go much lower than that, and that shows that some of these guys are getting steals off of just desire. But let's look at who else is on top of this list. Garrett Hampson, Adalberto Mondesi, both flashing 30s. Malik Smith with 30. Acuna, 29.6. Really? Manny Margot, Ahmed Rosario, Victor Robles. So that's where I want to go for speed, is pretty much those names. That's where I'm pulling it from. And then I kind of mixed in and tried to figure out where they were in the outfield. Let's do it right now. I've become way up on Hampson. So Hampson, this is the crazy thing. He walks a lot. He has a very strong plate discipline. I think we may be looking at a potential superstar. He came up in his O swing, 22%. 22%, that's microscopic. He's going to be on base all the time. Look at this sprint speed. Are you kidding me? 8th, a 30 sprint speed? Are they going to turn him loose? They were letting Story run. I don't like where he is in the lineup, but if he's making that much contact, They can't bury him for too long. Garrett Hampson is up for a reason, and he's becoming a piece on all teams. In Yahoo, he's got second base and shortstop eligibility. Watch out for Garrett Hampson. I'm pushing him way up. And then that's my thing with Adalberto Mondesi, as I want to build through that middle infield to get my speed. I'm seeing a lot of it come from Adalberto. Let's get a little further. All right, here we go. Let's jump into these outfielders. I'm just going to do a little bit of list review. There were some things I had to talk about and push up some of your late outfielders and make you aware because we're fine tuning. I'm T minus 26 hours approximately from draft time before I pop off auction number 2. We've been living in shortstops and outfielders because we need to keep getting better there. It's two of the deepest positions in the league, and as ADP and guys start getting more lost, we're just refining. Let me come right down the list here. Late, I think Byron Buxton, because of the speed. If you're looking for some speed, Buxton will have it for you. Cedric Mullins, too, has shown he has it for you, and Ramon Laureano. I have them as like a cluster. Late outfield, some other options to be aware of. Stephen Piscotty, part of that Oakland squad, part of that upstart Oakland team. Piscotty had some nice contact rates. I like Nimmo. I think Nimmo's got to be pushed up. This was another thing. So after I looked at speed, I did double back and just touch on power. So we're going to talk a little bit about power and where power mixed in. There's kind of some building blocks. I think you got to put in some signature pieces to make sure your team has speed, power, balance. But let's keep going down these outfielders. This is late. Harrison Bader. I think he's going to start in the outfield and have enough at bats to make good on some of that speed. Look out for Harrison Bader. Here's some collateral damage of Manny Machado. It's Franchi Cordero has the serious tools. He's got swing and miss, but he's got speed and he's got exit velo. I don't know how that outfield is going to shake out, but it needs to clean up a little bit. Whether it's Franchi or Franmil Reyes or Hunter Renfroe or Margot, there's a lot of pieces in that Padres outfield that kind of need to work itself out. We've been talking about Winker. Everyone's high on that, even though his role is unknown. Old man pick of the day, Ryan Braun, bouncing around, playing in his limited sample. He stays busy. Billy Hamilton is going to be late speed. The tool is poor, but we think Kansas City's going to turn him loose. If Manny Margot could stay on the field and wasn't being platooned, he's some late speed. And then some late, I wanted to mention Willie Calhoun and Tyler O'Neill if he ever got the job. Tyler O'Neill has power, and he's shown he can run hard. He is a toolsy gentleman. So those are some of the outfielders we had to talk about. Let me just double back up here and make sure there wasn't anything else. Well, let's touch on power while we're here. Let's touch on power and let's touch a little bit on the high end. So, Acuna is that 5 cat. Trey Turner and Story, it's another debate. Judge and Stanton, 2 big power bats in the outfield for just pure power. I think you got to realize Aguilar is going to bring power. That was a limited season. I think he's 30 plus. He could be 35. I don't want to miss out on some Aguilar power. Obviously, the first baseman, Rizzo, Goldschmidt, and Bellinger, they can't be slept on. Charlie Blackmon, for as much shade as I throw on him, let's give him 30 home run power. I don't want to disrespect him to where you guys won't use him. I'll push Garrett Hampson all the way up into just regular player territory. I'm probably 100 picks higher than him. I mean, I'm done with ADP. Garrett Hampson is way up in the middle infield as a real deal piece. Joey Gallo, someone I did a little study on. Joey Gallo is just getting better at a glacially slow pace. So I think at the worst, Joey Gallo is what he did last season. 40 homers in the bank. If he got slightly better at anything, he'll get better. If he made a jump at anything, just a couple percentage points of contact or lays off of something, the power is 50 home run upside. He is putting things out. Sprinkle it in a utility spot. See if you can keep his average up with other players. I think there's a chance there. Edwin Encarnacion, he's going for value. And it's probably 30 home run power. Another guy to sprinkle. in the utility spots. Don't sleep on them. Here's a high riser. Here's a high riser. Garrett Hampson was my middle infield riser. Here's my riser at the corner. Miguel Andujar. Listen, Andujar is a 60 future value the same way Gleyber Torres is a 60 future value. Andujar is going to give you more production with the bat than Gleyber Torres this season. I hate to say it, guys. He had 46 doubles last season. He's chasing, he's swinging at everything, but his zone contact rate is 91 or 92%. He makes contact. He puts bat to ball. His chase rate is pretty good. I want to say it's in the high 60s. I know he's swinging a lot. He's not going to take a walk, but he had 290 last season. He's going to continue to be productive. People make fun of his defense, but apparently he's got a cannon. So whether once he gets his hand on the ball and gets it out of the mitt, he can make that play from third. I don't think his defense is that much of a liability. I'm pushing him way up. Justin Turner, runner up for old man piece of the day. He's got a bat tool on him. The Senzel hype is leaked out. The Senzel hype, I'm going to make sure you guys are dominating leagues, that your late picks are good. That Nick Senzel, he looks like a starting outfielder. It hasn't started in the preseason. I don't know if they're going to play with his service time. There's no reason for them to do that. He's a 60 or 65 future value player with hit tool on him. Let's keep just pushing these late guys up. I don't want to miss out on Ahmed Rosario, shortstop for the New York Mets, having some speed. And PJ Cron, and CJ Cron with the late P for power. You got CJ Cron. I think you can think about him at the last second. I'm just going to go a little deeper down in that middle infield. There are two guys I wanted to touch on. Scott Kingery, flashing speed. We don't know his position. We don't know what Gabe's going to do with him. It's probably limited at bats, but there could be some steals with it and some more collateral damage. Tatis Jr. at the Padres. If the Padres are more serious and they need to win now, and Tatis Jr. is hitting a bunch of home runs at AAA, maybe he comes up and plays short and Machado moves over to third. And those guys roam around the left side of the infield. So there you go. That's kind of the update with speed. I might get back to a little bit of strategy at the end on how to build through some of that speed. That should give you guys a feel. Definitely check out your sprint speeds on Baseball Savant. You could check out some stolen base projections, but meh on that. So the second part of the double main event is getting these starting pitchers correct. And you guys have been locked in here for a little bit. I'm going to try to wrap this up here shortly. I gave you all the aces, all the $20 aces. But I don't want to push down a couple guys in case they got lost on your list, where to live in that middle tier, or if you want to get a later ace. It's Clevenger. Clevenger for 15, that's cheap. Carlos Martinez, the news is just getting worse and worse. I think they're shutting him down. It's the shoulder, it's the conditioning. I'm getting more and more nervous, guys. I'm not going to be paying up for that. Sorry to all those Carlos Martinez fans, and I'm one of them, but he just isn't looking healthy right now. Folty, as I mentioned, Tanaka, Paxton, that's the range I'm talking about. I'm staying with Luis Castillo. Oh yeah. Flaherty, $17. Maybe pay up there. Pay up there if he's your ace. He's acey at times. Archer, Barrios for sure. Kikuchi, keep wondering about it. Tyone. And here's a little deeper. Here's some veterans that, if you're looking for someone to pop, I think Charlie Morton, if healthy, could be given some quality innings. I know Tampa Bay talking about using that opener makes you a little nervous, but supposedly they're going to shelve the opener for Morton, Snell, and Glass now. So maybe not to worry there. Yu Darvish, Steven Matz. I went down a little bit deeper. Just push up a little J.A. Happ. I see some things from him. Eovaldi. Nathan Eovaldi. He is really changing as a pitcher. His fastball is bad because it's straight, but it's 97. He's spread himself out. He's now flashing 5-pitch mix, fastball with the cutter, with 3 other offerings. I think a split finger, a hard slider. There's a lot of hard stuff. This pitcher Eovaldi is not the pitcher he was in the past. So I think he's worth kind of a late round. Give him a shot there. I'm getting deeper. There's a couple things on high-end aces. Real quick, back up to the high-end aces. This can round out the end of our kind of pitching review here. If you're looking for a top 5 piece, Carrasco and Corbin flashed microscopic at times this season. Microscopic, like unhittable, super high KB, K to B percentage. So a little bit of Carrasco or Corbin. As I get into this next auction, I'm going to try to get some of these things that I identified, some of these targets. Let me just drop these 3 auction strategies before I let you go. Where my mind is at for tomorrow's auction, what I'm trying to build. See if I can accomplish some of these. Be greedy at mid to late starter. Really getting greedy in there. You know, I wanted all those $20 aces, but if I get pushed off, maybe I take all those teens aces. Can I get greedy at Clevenger, Folty, Flaherty, Barrios for just, you know, high teens money? Really get greedy in there. A little bit deeper. I don't want to be much deeper than that. I want 5 or 6. I want some $20 ones, and I want to get greedy at that mid-level. You know I'm still up on James Reyes and Ronaldo Lopez. I'll just throw their names in there. McHugh and Ray. That's one of my strategies. What was another thing I had for you here? Another one, building around Machado. Building around Machado, because this is what's happening for me. Chris Bryant, I'm concerned about Chris. You're going to have to be a doctor at multiple times through the season. Let's be a doctor here on Chris Bryant. He's not showing exit velocities of the first 2 years. He's not showing launch angles of the first 2 years of his career. He's taken a step back. Now, last year, the numbers are not very good. They show a diminished hitter. Okay, I understand he was injured. But is he all the way healthy? Is he all the way healthy? Is he going to resume those numbers when he first came into the league? Or is this the new Chris Bryant where he's a little bit restrained? And so then it makes me concerned because I'm talking about how to work Vlad in, and I want to Vlad Chris Bryant. But Chris Bryant for 30, I don't know if I want to spend 30 to move him out. I kind of like trying to move Machado across the infield. So I'm looking at some, you know, Machado, Mondesi at short, maybe look at Garrett Hampson and Profar. And then as Vlad comes in, I bump everybody across. Alberto goes to second. You know, maybe let Profar play 1B. Who gets pushed off? And then maybe it makes it better to get some Bellinger or some Hoskins in there. Throw him into the outfield. I've been looking at one of those. Profar kind of just does it by himself. Profar just moves around your infield so much. He can swing from the third all the way over to the first. He could be a plug-in for Vlad. Building around Machado's tricky, you know, and then it just goes back. What's Machado? What's his best position? Are you going to use him at short? Or do you need short to run some of that speed out there? Do you want to put him at third? Because there isn't anything else safe. And, you know, what are you going to do if he's 28, 22? You know, or is he a little too expensive? These are good questions. My last team here, my last build, is kind of the all-injured team. Just guys that just aren't healthy, and how I'm really having trouble going and getting them, but they're coming at value. Can I do Lindor Breggs and just wait and just be patient? They're not going to start the season. You know, is it Lindor Breggs across the infield? I don't know. Seager, Correa, some of these guys that haven't been so proven. I think you got to get the most out of your multi-position. If you're going to multi-position or you're looking ahead at some targets, see how the pieces fit in. Think about trying to move some of your infielders into the outfield, that outfield-infield shift. Get a little redundancy at middle infield. A little Garrett Hampson, it seems like, with that second or short, he can fill in. Alberto busts. I got Garrett Hampson insurance. You know, if I want to slide some things around, it makes it work a little bit better with the Machado or with Breggs. So, big shout out to all the subscribers. Thanks for tuning in. This is hardcore fantasy grinding, you know, just keeping it locked in. Not for the faint of heart, not for, you know, I don't expect you guys to be able to jump in at this video and keep up with the metrics, but you got to go back. You got to watch the series. It's been trying to be a little bit of a learning exercise. Hit me with the likes. Appreciate the likes. Loving all the subscribers. Subscribe in. I'll keep bringing videos. We're going to make sure that you dominate drafts. This is the heart of fantasy draft season. You got to love it. You got to love this stuff.